We are back on Get Up, and this is a Football Friday. We're going to talk about the NFC East because every team is fascinating, and we're looking for one big move each team might make as free agency begins Monday. Graz, let's start with the defending division champs, the Eagles. What's one big move for the Eagles?
Max Crosby. I don't know why we don't hear them more in this. The Eagles are always big game hunting, looking for difference makers. I know they have younger guys to sign on the defensive side of the ball, but this is a team that has the highest of hopes every single season. This is a difference-making player. I think if Max Crosby's on the market, they should be in on it, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were.
What do you think of that, Mike T? That is the biggest of big game hunting.
Yeah, I like it. I really would like them to see re-sign Jalen Phillips. They traded for him from Miami. He was very productive, a lot younger than Max Crosby. Max Crosby's a great player, but keep your own.
Tim Hasselbeck, if you put Max Crosby on the Eagles, turn out the lights. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Crosby makes any team better. He's so good. I mean, just, I think the question ends up being here because there probably are multiple suitors in the trade, market for him, his desire potentially to leave Las Vegas. It's just going to be who can really absorb probably the cost that it's going to take to end up acquiring him.
I wouldn't put anything past Howie Roseman.
Nope.
I like that one a lot. All right, let's go on to the Giants. Mike T, first year under the new head coach, John Harbaugh. Give me a move you want to see them make.
Jeremiah Love, running back, Notre Dame, draft him at number 5. You want to establish a culture of toughness and explosiveness right here. Maybe the best player in the draft, 42 career touchdowns, rushing and receiving greeny. I'd say this, Jackson Dart will be a better quarterback if he has a running back like this.
Yes, talk to me here about this one, Hasselbeck. You put Jeremiah Love on any team. He is so spectacular, but with the young quarterback, talk to me.
Yeah, I do think the best way you can help a quarterback is by getting him production, out of the running back position. That position can touch the ball more than any other position outside of quarterback. And so the influence a young player, a first-year player can have on your offense at the running back position is far greater than any other position that you can add. So I like where Mike's head is at with that. I would say this. I also don't hate the idea of drafting an offensive tackle, in the draft either very high, just because I think either one is helpful. I don't disagree with Mike, though, in terms of, the impact that a running back who's going to touch the ball 20 times potentially a game, how that can help your quarterback.
Love is also good enough to be a receiver, so he could help you a lot of ways. There are two tackles who are going to go high, Monroe Fielding and CeCe Mauinoa. That might be too high for either of them. What was the sense you got at the Combine about just how high Jeremiah Love might go? He's so spectacular.
He is. I mean, look, you hear everything. I mean, you hear like Arizona at 3. It doesn't seem realistic, but I mean, taking a running back in the top 5, it just very rarely works out from a value perspective. You got to be ready to go, and I'm not sure maybe by the time they get to the draft, if they built out the offensive line, maybe they feel better about it, but I'm not sure the Giants are in that position.
Or maybe they're next year's Patriots. We're going to find out. Maybe. Let's go to the Commanders next. Jaden Daniels, they took that major step here with Jaden Daniels making that run a couple of years ago. Tim, what is the move you'd like to see for them?
Shaheed, who ended up with the Seattle Seahawks this year after being traded from New Orleans. I think he's one of the most undervalued players in the National Football League. He's one of the fastest players in the league. He helps you in the return game. And when you look at the Commanders at the receiver position, Terry McLaurin, who they signed to a big deal, is older. Deebo Samuel can't run the way he once did. And so I think Shaheed, who I believe is undervalued, could make them one of the better wide receivers, if not, in the league, which would certainly help Jaden Daniels, who's coming off of a disappointing year.
Absolutely. I mean, the acquisition of Shaheed, particularly also in the return game, was an enormous one for the now defending Super Bowl champion Seahawks. And then finally, let's get to the Cowboys. Graziano, I smile and I turn to you. What is the move the Dallas Cowboys can make to put themselves where we know we want them?
I mean, the answer is Max Crosby, but I already gave him to the Eagles. Okay. So let's give the Cowboys Trey Hendrickson. They need an impact edge rusher, obviously to replace Micah Parsons, who they traded away last summer. Hendrickson would be an uncharacteristic move for Dallas because he's an older free agent. They tend to like younger ones they can get on longer-term deals. But if you're doing well elsewhere, if you're getting your cornerback and your linebacker and you're putting your defense back together and the edge rush position is eluding you, maybe a short-term deal for a 31-year-old Trey Hendrickson makes sense.
Here's what I like about it, because everyone is talking about Max Crosby. Max Crosby is much more expensive beyond the money. He costs you the picks, but you have to trade for Max Crosby.
They have the picks.
But they have the picks, but they need so much on defense. So hold on to your picks. What's the expression? Keep your powder dry, whatever the term is. Keep your powder dry. Use those draft picks to address the other two levels of your defense, and go sign Trey Hendrickson. He may not be as good as Max Crosby, but he is exactly what they need.
I totally agree, Greeny. And now all of a sudden you have Donovan Ezeraku from last year. You have Kenny Clark. You have Quinnen Williams. Now you're over the hump from the Micah Parsons trade. And to your point, now you draft a linebacker. Maybe it's Mansour Delane, the best corner, if he's there. So absolutely. And going back to what Bill Walsh always said, right? Score through the passing game, and then you need fourth quarter pass rushers. Certainly Trey Hendrickson fits that.
Yeah, it would be nice for him to get that opportunity. Tim, how about it? Do you see that? I've got a lot of people telling me they think the Cowboys are just a few good moves this offseason away from really putting themselves in a position next year. How do you see them?
Yeah, I would agree, Greeny, and I think your point on, the difference between Crosby and Hendrickson, the cost to acquire each one is drastically different. And, outside of last year being a bad year for Hendrickson, he's actually been as good as any pass rusher, over the last 7 years in the National Football League. Like, that's how good Trey Hendrickson has been. So there's an element of, because of all that Dallas probably needs on the defensive side of the ball, if you can beat the market with a player like Hendrickson, because quite frankly, the deal, unless a team like, the Colts or somebody super involved in him as well, I think then you can end up spending money elsewhere to help improve your defense.
Absolutely. All right, we shall see. All the fun will begin in that on Monday. Coming up, we had some fun yesterday. How does the DJ...
All right, hit that music. It's time for America's favorite game show, Fraud or Laud.
With our favorite contestant.
Hey, we don't have high T.
We don't.
We don't have low T.
We don't.
We have Mike T.
That's the only T that we need. Mike T, our first caller is Josh Allen. He is saying DJ Moore is just what the Bills' offense needed. Mike T, fraud or laud?
Gary, that is fraud. I really like DJ Moore. He's a good player. Last year, though, he only had 50 receptions for 682 yards, so he's not a number one receiver anymore. He's a good complementary player. I like the fact that he's reunited with Joe Brady. They were together in Carolina. He will make this team better, but they still need a number one receiver. Maybe they get the A.J. Brown sweepstakes. Maybe they try to draft one in the first round. So it's a good start, but more work to be done.
You imagine A.J. Brown and DJ Moore.
There's not enough weights in the weight room.
Running routes for Josh Allen. Our next caller, Sean McVay. Mike T, he says Trent McDuffie is the Rams' missing piece. Is that fraud or laud?
That is a laud. I love Trent McDuffie. He's one of my favorite players in the NFL, maybe the best corner overall. He's extremely versatile. He can play in the slot. He can play outside. Seeing him against man-to-man against the aforementioned A.J. Brown. He's actually a good blitzer as well. And when you think about they have to go beat a team like Seattle to get to where they want to go, he could cover Jackson Smith and Jigba. So in the past, they haven't spent a lot of money on corners. This was a great move for the Rams.
Randy's already calling it McDuffie Island, like Revis Island.
I'm actually staying away from island nicknames lately.
Our final caller is Stephen A. Smith. He said that A.J. Brown is the best fit to replace Stephon Diggs in New England. Mike T, fraud or laud?
That's a laud. Even if it wasn't true, because it's Stephen A., I would agree with him. But look, if the Patriots could get A.J. Brown, they should go back to the Super Bowl. He's 29 years old. He's still in his prime. He has 32 touchdowns over the last 4 years. And without Diggs, they are desperate for a number one receiver. There's nobody like this in the draft. This would be a win-win, especially if Philadelphia could get a first-round pick for A.J. Brown. But I love the fit in New England if they could get this done.
That picture of Stephen A. is outstanding. Mike T, it's time to claim your prize. What door are you picking?
Oh,